Hey, LaShawn.
Hey, Mike.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Hey, you know what? Recently, we got to be the guests on a podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody asked us to answer the questions.
I don't know why.
So I was curious. We were on this podcast called Bold by Choice with the National Charter Schools Institute. And they were so professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how so much more professional than we are.
Wait.
I was wondering how was that for you? How was it being a podcast guest versus a podcast, whatever we are, host?
It was really interesting. And I realized what our guests feel when they come on our podcast. I know I was incredibly nervous. And like you said, they were very organized. It made me think that maybe we need to tighten our ship a little bit around here. But it was really good. It was a new experience, but I'm happy to be back on this side of the mic. How about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was so nervous too.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, see? Oh wait, we should edit that part out.
No, say that again.
But it also, like you, I'm so glad that we are on this side, and I'm really excited for Senator McCray today.
Yeah. Welcome to the Flipped Podcast.
Or Flip Ed.
However you hear it, this is a place for joy and dreaming of education.
In each episode, you will hear from educators with an idea, a vision, a revolutionary thought that could flip a switch and change schools for our changed world.
I'm LaShawn.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to Flip.
Welcome to Flip Ed.
Well, Cory V. McCray is a proud son of Baltimore, a journeyman electrician, author of the Apprenticeship that saved my life, and a Maryland state senator. His journey from electrical apprentice to public service reflects the transformative power of skilled trades, mentorship, and second chances. As an author and legislator, McCray understands the responsibility of preserving legacy while building pathways for future generations, ensuring that stories of struggle and triumph continue to shape Baltimore's future. Welcome, Senator.
LaShawn, Mike, just thank you for the privilege, humble honor, opportunity to be able to share this moment with you.
We're glad you're here.
We're so excited to have you here. We're excited to just hear from you. Can you share a little bit about your origin? How did you get started? What brought you here?
You know what? Well, what brought me here to City Neighbors was my car, but what brought me here, the city of Baltimore, just the son of the city. I love it so much. Born and raised here, graduated from Fairmont Harford over there on Harford and 25th. I tell folks that Reach Partnership is in that building now. And the generation before me, they called it Little Clifton. I'm an electrician. As you stated, LaShawn, I went through 5 year of an apprenticeship program, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, entrepreneur, been buying houses up and down Bel Air Road since I was 20 years of age. I got my training wheels in the House of Delegates, and I'm currently serving in the Maryland State Senate. And I just want to reiterate, proud privilege, humble honor to be able to serve my city and serve this city in which I live.
How did you end up going the apprenticeship route?
I tell folks that, and I just was over at Vivian T today, so I love staying in my schools, so I appreciate that we're here today in one of our high schools. But more importantly, I tell folks that I navigated a number of the challenges that our young folks navigate in this city. And I tell folks by the grace of God that I had a mother that never gave up on her son. It was my mom that actually found the apprenticeship program. She saw her son getting in trouble, trying to figure it out. She reached out to the Maryland Department of Labor, said, send me every apprenticeship program in the state of Maryland.
Wow.
Back then, 20 years ago, they didn't have email, so they mailed you a packet. They mailed the packet. She said, Cory, I need you to fill out applications. And I tell folks the rest is history because I was accepted into the IBEW's apprenticeship program.
All right, Mom.
All right, Mom. Renee McCray, shout out to her.
Okay, so you are the only non-working in schools educator that we've had.
That's right.
On this podcast to date.
Setting trends.
Yes.
Yeah. So usually we'll ask what is your origin story around how did you become a teacher or how did you become a principal? I think we have a little sense of your origin story around apprenticeships, which is what you're going to talk about today. But you are now a strong advocate for apprenticeships. Can you talk a little bit about like why that particular experience was so powerful for you that it's now resonates for you?
Yep.
now?
Mike, I'm definitely going to jump into the apprenticeship component, but if I can and just let folks know why I love my educators, why do I stay in these schools, and why do I feel like I have to be a partner with our education K through 12 system. At the end of the day, I know what's at stake. So I know that our young folks from one simple opportunity can go left or go right. And we have to make sure that we're speaking life into them, letting them know that they're great. But more importantly, I thank each and every one of you all because you're doing the work. You're on the ground each and every day. I get to drop in. But mine's is, as I'm dropping in, I'm understanding culture, I'm understanding environment, I'm looking at enrollment, I'm looking at grades, and then I'm trying to figure out not how do I be a spectator, not how do I go out here and give criticism, but how do I complement the work that's taking place in the schoolhouse. I'm going to lean into the apprenticeship component and why it's important to me. When I think about, and my friend Susie Levine said this to me. Susie used to be the ambassador, former ambassador of Switzerland. And she said, Cory.
You're friends with the former ambassador of Switzerland? Wait, can we just... Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say she's my mentor. Let's say she's my mentor.
I have
Let's say
former
that.
ambassador friends too. Don't you, LaShawn?
Yeah, I do too. A few of them. Yeah.
So Susie said, Cory, do you know even at its peak, in this country that 39% were going to one of our higher education institutions or community colleges? So, Mike, when I think about apprenticeships, I think about the majority of folks that may not be seeking higher education, and that's okay. But they also have to have an understanding that this is an equivalent. This is not second tier, it's not secondary, that there are folks that are making great opportunities by going through a registered apprenticeship program. How do we think about things like this, and how do we bring about more access? I think about one of the conversations that I was having with the school system. I asked the question, why do we do university tours and community college tours, but we do not do apprenticeship tours? And for the last 7 years, we found a partner in this organization, College Bound. And what College Bound did was they said, Cory, we can organize the schools, get the permission slips with the students, but can you get us the apprenticeship programs? Mike, for the last 7 years, we've taken City Neighbors, we've done Reach Partnership, we've done NAF, we've done Dunbar. So every high school in my district it started with. And what we did was we toured, LaShawn, the carpenters, the electricians, the plumbers and steam fitters, the operating engineers, so that our young people can have that access and that exposure and understand that they fit into these spaces also from that standpoint. And I love that it's expanded. So now folks outside the 45th, you see Ben Franklin, you see Mervo, you see Carver has also joined us in these spaces. But I just thank you all for making sure that our young folks from City Neighbors are inclusive of that, because then they get to choose their options and adults are not choosing them for them.
Absolutely. I think you're like a true testament to the power of apprenticeships. If you could talk to just some kids and encourage them, like what are things that you would say to them?
Oh, it's so much I would say. It's so much what I would say. I'm going to stick to apprenticeships, though. Right now, I do the things that bring joy to my heart. So, like every experience, I'm here today, first because I recognize that time is important. I thank you for sharing your time with me. But also, like, this brings joy to my heart. How do you elevate the conversation? How do you elevate the frequency? And making sure that we're getting people's critical thinking skills going, get the motor going versus having a dumbed down conversation. So I thank you for that piece of it. But what conversation would I have with the 17 to 18 to 20-year-old Cory McCray if I had to do it again? I would speak to him like, what drove me towards the apprenticeship? I talked to you about my mom, but Mike, it was the wages. They were telling me 20 years ago that they would start me off at $12 an hour, and I didn't know anything about electric work. Then they said that they would go the next year to 15, the next year to 18, until it matriculates to $32, $35 an hour. LaShawn, I thought they were hustling me. I was like, why would you pay me this much money? Why would you pay me this much money and I do not know anything about your space? Then on top of that, they were telling me they were going to pay me to go to school. So we normalize things that aren't normal. I was always told that I had to pay to get the education, and these folks were telling me, I'm going to pay you to go to school one day every 2 weeks, and all the rest of them, you'll get the on-the-job training. I said, sign me up.
Right.
Sign me up. And LaShawn, I didn't understand that there are employers that have a business model of having a trained workforce, which is why they were paying the wage that they were. They don't have high turnover. They can take on complex projects and things of that nature, which was the incentive. But if I can close with this, you actually have to see it in order to be able to believe that you can get there. My challenge was, Mike, that I did not have electricians in my neighborhood so I can then envision myself in this space. The second piece of it was that the highest wage in my family, when you looked at my mom, when you looked at my aunts, was $35,000. And you're telling this 20-year-old, this teenager, that he's going to double the amount of the highest wage in his family if he does what he's supposed to in 5 years. I didn't think that was real, and it ended up being real.
If you clearly your flip is around apprenticeships, right? So if you were really doing this, if you could really like make the magic wand happen, I have a feeling it would go far beyond like tours for people, which is amazing and great, right? The access. Like if you were really transforming Baltimore City to include apprenticeships, like what would it really look like? What would you do that is beyond what we're already doing now?
Wow. I would give young people the opportunity to explore the wildest imaginable occupations that they can think of. What does something like that look like? And Mike, I always say you don't know what you don't know. So I'm sitting next to one of my colleagues, Malcolm Augustine, on the Senate floor. And he asked me the question. I got 4 children. I got a Kennedy, Reagan, CJ, and Bryson, 18, 16, 11, 10. And at the time, Kennedy's in the 11th grade. And he asked me, what is she doing this summer? And I said, well, we're doing the same thing that all youth do in our city is, I'm pretty sure she'll be working with YouthWorks. And he said, well, Cory, did you ever ask her what she wants to do in life? And I said, I think that she wants to be a lawyer, but Malcolm got it going now. Now the motor's going. I went home that day and I asked Kennedy, what do you want to do when you grow up? And she said, Dad, I want to be a lawyer. And there I started to understand my responsibility. And it's the connectivity to the apprenticeship program that I want to lean in on. Malcolm was planting the seeds that I should have been doing, giving opportunities to Kennedy at that moment, and I wasn't even aware of that, Mike. I immediately called my city state's attorney. And I said, Ivan, my daughter wants to be a lawyer. And in order, I always say you are the 5 people you keep the company of. So even if she don't or do want to be a lawyer, she needs to be around other lawyers. And I got it once he said it. Then I didn't realize my privilege and my access now. I didn't realize that I know judges, Mike. So Judge Jones was on my phone giving me a hard time because my daughter's in the courthouse and I didn't let her know. And the next year, she went to intern for Judge Jones.
Wow.
So now I can see my understanding, like my responsibility a lot more clear. And it's not just for the kids in my house. I can speak to her about a young lady, Chimera. I remember Chimera's teacher, Mr. K, her middle school teacher, had reached out to me and said she was special, Mike. And when he's explaining that Chimera is special, I said, well, Mr. K, we got a lot of young special folks in our thing. He said, Cory, I'm telling you, she needs to be around it. And I asked him, I said, I usually had juniors and seniors in universities in my school, in my office. So what do you want me to do? And I'm a problem solver, not a problem. I don't just keep sitting on problems. So she did intern in the office. And just to say that Mr. K was so right, Chimera was not only brilliant, exceptional, but she was also special. She was the young lady that wrote out newsletters, that wrote out emails that you see go out and listserv, wrote testimony. And Mike, simply by the exposure of her now being around it, she did her 11th grade in our office, 12th grade in our office, in our first year at the University of Maryland College Park. And I applaud Chimera because she grew up in Dolly Park. And if folks know Dolly Park over there, or Harford, Normal, Harford, Dolly, Harford, 25th, you know the dynamics that our young people are dealing with when they walk out the front door. I didn't have that mental strength to be able to navigate a number of the challenges and was susceptible to what I saw coming out my front door. But this brilliant, beautiful, special young lady was able to do such exceptional things, even in those elements. And Mr. K was absolutely right. she deserved every bit of it to get to that opportunity. But I'll lean in and I'll stop right here. The most important responsibility that we have as adults is making sure that each and every young scholar meets their full potential. And that was the opportunity that I felt good about with helping Chimera, because I felt like she was maximizing and meeting her full potential.
I just wonder what it would be like if children or students had multiple opportunities to try various things. I mean, I think here at the high school we have an internship program.
Right.
So in 11th grade, you have a chance to choose your internship in a direction you want. And, sometimes what's powerful about that is they find something that they really latch onto, that they really love and propels them. But what's like equally as powerful about that is they found out, oh, I thought I wanted to do that, but I don't, right? But so much of what we're doing in school is like theoretical about what the world is. Why do you really want to be a lawyer if you haven't experienced it yet? Why do you really want to be an electrician if you haven't experienced it yet? So it does make me wonder if schools were constructed slightly differently and had more and more opportunities for kids to really just try stuff, then when they got to more formal opportunities for apprenticeship, they would have a better sense of, yes, I really want to go in this direction.
You see people change careers all the time. My sister was an accountant. Now she's an educator because she went to school for 4 years, worked at Legg Mason, realized that this wasn't what she wanted to do, and then shift gears because she wanted to serve in a different type of capacity. So you're absolutely right. I think you should be getting it out your system and exploring at the young age. That way you can make this choice. I really enjoyed what Miss LaShawn was doing. And my wife's an educator because she had an educator that impacted her life at such a young age at Bernard Harris that she kept saying, I want to do that.
Yeah.
What did you want to be when you were in 10th grade?
In 10th grade, I wanted to write. So I wanted to be a writer. Okay. But everything about like my journey, I changed my mind so many times. So many times. Teaching wasn't something that was at the forefront of my interest then.
And what did you want to be in 10th grade, Cory? Didn't even know?
Didn't even know. But what I'll say is that I come of that generation, electrician, spent 5 years doing that. Then you find yourself as the entrepreneur. So you find yourself in the entrepreneurial space. Did 4 years over in the House of Delegates. Second term in the Maryland State Senate, and now an author. Like, I'm always shifting gears because, Mike, I think that the greatest growth opportunities come from doing the things that make you feel uncomfortable. So I'm always seeking, what is it that I do not know so that I can then add value to others, scale impact, and be able to help my people?
Yeah. And what would you say is a starting point for that, for educators, for folks that are on the ground in the classroom, but really want to begin to build the muscle for students to be able to do exactly what you're speaking to have the exposure, but to also normalize being able to try different things? How do we get folks, what's our charge for starting? What does the starting point look like?
So I'll say this. I might not have always had the greatest middle school and high school experience, but one thing that was clear was that my elementary school experience, it was not one day that I walked in Rocknell Heights and did not feel like I was great and did not feel like I could knock walls down and accomplish anything that I put my mind to. And I love, my mom wasn't aware that she was supposed to send me to kindergarten, LaShawn. So I started in the first grade, and I started behind a number of my peers simply because I didn't have that advantage of going to kindergarten. But what happens is Miss Lyde poured so much into me. I found myself in gifted and talented in first grade. And it ain't just Miss Lyde. It's Miss Solomon, Miss McCoy, Miss Allen, Miss Lanier,
Principal
Sarah Horsey, because of the impact that they left on me. So when you think about, like, what is it that we could be doing? The fundamental first thing is to let them know that they're great every time you get a chance. That's the first thing. But the other one is just exposure and access. Mike, if I could be vulnerable, if I could be transparent, I never got on a plane until I was 25. I never left the country until I was 30. So I couldn't even see these things in these different spaces simply because I was limited in exposure and access. So if I had my dream gift, I would just give young people the opportunity. Same things I'm doing for the 4 in my house is unlimited tap exposure opportunity. I tell you, my kids play all sports because I'm trying to get them to see, what is it that you actually enjoy? My oldest daughter, I didn't think she was good at any sport, LaShawn. It was tennis. We was like, she got 2 left feet. Like, she cannot figure it out. And tennis,
I don't think you're supposed to say that on the podcast.
well, she know her dad go hard time. But she finished doubles in city schools 2 years in a row.
Wow.
And that's what she was good at because she kept exploring. I'm not good at soccer. not good at basketball like my siblings. I'm not good at this. And they don't play tennis, and she played tennis, and she could beat anybody in our house. And a number of folks have done it a number of times in other spaces. And that's what she was good at. We have to explore.
I have one more question. And back to apprenticeships for a second. Are there enough apprenticeships for everybody who wants one?
Right now, it's gangbusters. So I don't think that folks are paying attention as they talk about AI, people losing jobs, the construction industry, and I should lean in. I'm gonna talk about construction, but apprenticeships goes very far past construction.
Yeah.
Right now with construction, because of the data centers and everything else around it, our outlook is 3, and it won't change for it's not just a 1 year thing. It's like at least the next 3-5 years is going to be crazy. So you'll see all apprenticeships. Ours doubled. So this year we took in twice as many. We usually do about 100. We did 200 in this year. So you're watching them move. We just opened up a Frederick office. So we opened up an apprenticeship program in Frederick from that standpoint. So you're watching, and it ain't just us. It's Harford County. It's a number of other different programs that's expanding because of the opportunity that's in front of us right now. Will that be like that forever? No, it will not. But the economy is very generous to folks that's moving in that space right now. And then I should have spoke about this on the podcast, but apprenticeships, people historically think of construction. But you can think of videology, you can think of health, you can think of public safety, you can think about all.
You could really be an apprentice for anything.
And that's why I was leaning in on the lawyer piece. Because you got apprenticeship, but you also have pre-apprenticeship. So that's why I was our young folks should do anything. If you say, hey, I want to be a veterinarian, Cory McCray going to figure out and they don't notice, we get the opportunity to pick up the phone and call anybody.
Wow.
If you want to say, hey, I want to talk to Kevin Sowers over at Hopkins right now, I can talk to the CEO of Hopkins right now. If you say, hey, I want to talk to Ron Daniels over at the university, I can put on a cell phone. And so our level of access is so much different. And I tell my young people, please reach out, because if you have opportunities that you're seeking, my responsibility is to put you in that space.
Thanks. And I think in some ways, I think your push on apprenticeships and then this conversation is actually much more radical than maybe you even think it is. I think it really pushes a different idea of what learning actually is and what it could be in schools. So thanks for the work you did. Thanks for the book. I just want to say the book one more time, The Apprenticeship That Saved My Life.
You're not wrapping up, it ain't that time already, is it?
Number 1 on the bestseller list, is it? And we really appreciate your advocacy for this, but also your support of education, Senator McCray here in Baltimore.
Nope, I just want to lean in and say thank you. This was very quick. I must have been having a very good time, but more importantly, Mike, LaShawn, just thank you for what you do in reference to, I said it once, but I think it's important, repetition, saying it over again. The work that you do with our young scholars is the most important work that we are doing. They are the greatest gifts that we have been given on this earth. And like I said, I get to drop in, but you're doing it full time. So I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also for what you're doing with elevating the conversation, making sure that folks have some level of awareness. And we're not holding information, we're sharing information. And that's the vehicle that you're providing right now. So thank you for helping me, giving me the opportunity to amplify the conversation.
Thank you for being here.
All right, LaShawn. So what is your takeaway from our time with Senator McCray?
Wow, he dropped so many incredible nuggets throughout this entire podcast, and it's got me thinking about just apprenticeships in general in a different light. I think one of the things that I'd pull out that he said was around the unlimited exposure and access. And that at the core is just powerful. Yes, when you're thinking about apprenticeships, but in general for students, what if we approached every lesson, every learning experience, every opportunity to think about how can we widen and give kids unlimited access and exposure? That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you taking away?
A couple things. One is, one of the joys of doing this podcast is just getting to sit with really great people. And, I just am taken by, his story, but also his commitment to education from his position now. So just want to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And, very similar to you, it just makes me think about like how we would be thinking about school differently if it wasn't all about just getting people ready for college classrooms, right? Like if we were getting people ready to really like learn well from others and explore their interests and, do all the things that apprenticeship does that's different than being in a classroom.
Yeah.
And so I said it, I think towards the end, but I actually think his idea around apprenticeships or what he would be pushing with it is actually much more revolutionary than he would even give it credit for. So,
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. And am I one of those people that you enjoy sitting with to do the podcast stuff? I heard you say it. I was just wanting to confirm for our listeners.
I think we have to wrap up.
Okay.